Must be this on screen first, isn't it? Nope. Hello. Hello. Right. Are you ready, Zev? Right. Good evening, everybody. Hello. Great to see so many messages online. Right. I have a little break this week, and we're going to have answer Zavi to take it away, Zev. Oh, go on the other side. Wow, so many people online already. Fantastic. Hello, Marshall, all the way back in Scotland. Hello, Zoe. Hello, Suzanne, Hugh, Steve, Mandy. Wow. Andrew. I can see Julian there, Myrig. Hello, everyone. Very good. Thank you, Zoe. Hang on, I think you're on camera. I can't see you now. There we are. We got a little bit of a lag issue here, I think. Hang on, so I can fix that quickly. No. Pardon?
It's on excellent connection.
It's on excellent connection, yeah, but the lag thing isn't sorted out, is it? Right. Okay, we've got tons of stuff tonight. Let's get this to work. Okay, hang on, let's just say hello to everyone first. We'll go through what we're going to be doing. Hello. Right, loads of messages. Wow, what a busy couple of weeks. So sorry there haven't been any of the short videos going up. I was trying to put them up every day. But the last couple of weeks, you understand why. As I said, I wasn't too well a few weeks ago. So thank you very much to all those people who've been sending me... hang on, just turn this off so I don't get interrupted suddenly. I can't... There we go. To all those people sending me get well things and... medicine tips and all that kind of thing. I'm now 100% super all clear, fully fit and operational, and have been walking up and down mountains and hills. Now, one other thing before I forget, it was Alan Wilson's birthday a couple of days ago, but I am going to send another package up, and please, if you weren't aware of it, the Facebook group already, people sent me loads of messages. Please, you have to email me, ross@cymroglyphics.com, and then I will copy and paste your comments, happy birthday, or little letter, anything like that. I will print it out, include it in the package, which will be going off to Mr. Wilson tomorrow. So that's 14th of June, okay? So it's your last chance to do that, because it's great to see all the nice messages go and all the cards and everything. Fantastic. Yes, so just to recap, gosh, I remember everything. So 2 weeks ago, we had the visit up to... where we think we've nailed the King Arthur II burial site, which is extremely exciting, and we're wondering what to do with that information. Then it was all the way up to check on the Jesus burial site. Then it was out with Robin Heath, measuring out stone circles for Avebury, and I'm still hoping to have a chat with him about the tally marks. So I've just been filming, not had a chance to put stuff out there, because this week I got to show you some clips tonight. Went up with Hugh Evans. Hello, Hugh. I can see he's on the group. To see this idea in this brilliant book. And I've got a few copies, which advanced copies. These are sort of pre-printed copies. The print run hasn't been done yet. And I'm going to put these, half a dozen I think I've got left. They'll go to first Patreon subscribers who want to grab these. It's truly... remarkable. I mean, you see it in the book, and you look at these views and these sites, and it's amazing. And you go up there like I've done and spend a few days, 2 days with Hugh, camping out under the stars, all that kind of thing, and checking it. It's just phenomenal. I'll show you on one example. All the star signs are up there. It's brilliant. Like, for example, with Camlan, I did a little short video, Camlan. You know, the Battle of Camlan with King Arthur. The battlefield no one knows exists. Where's the place Camlan? Of course there is. And you have there two curls of mountains. I mean, these are proper big mountains. And those represent the two horns of the bull Taurus. And the names all match it and everything as well. And then you go around someone else's Gemini. And then you've got Kyle Caradoc is forming this great big central bastion. All the big mountains are involved, and the rivers run through. So you've got one river forming the ecliptic, which is the path of where you can see these stars rising over the horizon. It's just brilliant and incredibly convincing. And I think it's just a massively important book. So I'll show you a few clips, some beautiful scenery from North Wales as well. Oh, hello, Marshall. Back up in Scotland. Well done. Marshall, Hugh, working with Yvonne Whiteman, you might be watching, on more advances with the Colbrin book and finding the roots of those words. Everything's happening so fast. It's amazing. And then yesterday, we had a great time, a family day out, which, groaning from children, the family day out was walking up another hill to see yet more star stuff, because Steve Willett, who I think usually watches this on catch-up due to his working patterns, he's the one who's been working out the Babylonian star map in southeast Wales. It seems to be this was something that happened throughout. And the one there is just mind-blowing, and I will show that next week, okay? I was going to try and show it tonight, but there's so much on tonight's show, couldn't get it done in time. Well, I mean, we wouldn't have time to show it all. All right, so first of all, a couple of news things which have come up, and thank you very much to people who have been sending me... Oh, hang on. This is the wrong presentation. I got two here. Hang on, let's do this one.
That's the same one.
Say one again. So we got 3 goes at it, yeah?
Yeah.
3 goes getting the right one. Zavi's running the show tonight. Okay. Okay. What do I do? Right. Okay, a little bit of screen sharing. So this we got tonight, just remind me there. Yeah, brilliant interview with Lee Pennington. And what I'm going to be doing with those, we got almost 2 hours of conversation. What a wonderful talker. I didn't realise he's been, until last week, that he's actually been nominated for the Pulitzer Prize for Poetry. Doesn't surprise me at all. Over, hundreds of poems, great articles, music. Wonderfully talented man. Who spent a lot of time with Wilson and Blackett, and he's been in America, and he's president of the Ancient Kentucky Society, looking at American history. And it's like American hidden history. This, I've got a little snippet from there, and the plan is then I'm going to run some little short clips from those conversations, and then a full conversation at some point. So I should get all the insight into what Hugh's been doing. Some shots from up there. You watching the comments there, Zev? You on chat over there?
Yeah.
And then, what Lee's also done, he's very, very kindly, hang on, I hate it when I hear that noise, that beep, beep, beep noise. Camera, so always means something, I've nipped something with my knee or something. Oh, man. Hang on, bear with me 1 second.
Yeah.
Well, at least we know how to fix things now, isn't it? This is the thing.
Just go to OBS.
OBS, thanks.
Say it, but then
Oh, see, Zav, so I need you working as... Where's the sources gone? It's gone completely. Excuse me a second, I'm still here. No, where's it gone?
Wait, click onto the sources. Click onto it.
Yeah, but it's not giving me the sources. Oh, there it is.
So, yeah.
Whew, hang on a sec.
What happened? Yeah, so we got it by accident.
I must have knocked it with my knee, I think. There we go. Oh, look, I got my A-team on the case. Thank you, boys.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't even call them the B-team. Get into family politics. What?
On the fin, are you can get to that point later?
Yes, and thank you for the reminder there, Sav. I'm going to do the Joseph burial thing as well, which has been sent to me by someone. So thank you for people sending me content. I've got Julian, who's been clambering all over the St. Geneth, so I'm going to be going up there during the week. And then we got another slot planned for Camelot, King Arthur's Camelot. Anyway, better crack on. And please fire away with any questions. We always like questions. I got to do a welcome. Sorry, if you're here for the first time, and if you're not, thank you. Incredibly loyal watchers. It makes it wonderful. The people week after week are here. It's really fantastic. Very flattered about that. And if you're here for the first time, what you'll find is there is an enormous wealth of British history, and in this case tonight, some American history, which, while it was widely accepted, well recorded, hundreds and hundreds of years, over the last couple of hundred years only, really, it's been written out and declared myth and legend, and we've got this sort of new version of history which have been taught in school. So if you think all the stuff that's going on at the moment about, deplatforming, they don't call it that anymore, do they? Changed the name, cancelling and pulling down statues and all this kind of stuff, this is nothing new. It has gone on almost through every civilization in history. The history gets thrown out, a new one gets written and put in its place, and that's what you're taught in school, and that's sort of what you get stuck with, okay? So what we're trying to do is uncover the history that used to be well known, some of which is very, very ancient, like the stuff Hugh Evans has been doing. And then some, what I was saying then before we get interrupted was Lee Penton made this fantastic film, which you have to see if you're at all interested in this. It's just under an hour long, and it's interviewing with Alan Wilson, and Lee narrates over the top, telling the story, and Alan narrates. Fantastic camera work. The great sights, seeing the stones.
Yeah, someone was wondering when is the new book going to be sent out.
Oh right, yeah, it'll go out in so it'll be 2 weeks. It'll be dispatched. Okay. So, yes, thank you for all the orders on that. The orders are flying in for the new book where Jesus is buried. I'll put the links up at the end. Okay. The other thing is now available. Thank you for asking. Is that so this Alan Wilson got Lee said show clips from the film. Do that. It's a good idea. So I'll show some clips if you haven't seen it before. It's wonderful. It tells the whole story. Whether for yourself or other people who are new to this, I can't recommend it high enough. The only problem has always been it's only been available in America, and the postage was costing more than the DVDs. So we've worked something out. Lee's just a lovely guy, and we're going to be selling them in the UK from the website here as well. So all the revenue will get split with Lee, Alan, and ourselves to pay for the CDs and keep us going. So please buy one of those, and I'll put the details at the end. All right. Okay, let's crack on. Oh, first of all, Karen Sawyer. Is Karen there tonight? Leave us a message, Karen. Karen always watches, sometimes during the week. This will happen when you get a very creative, spiritual person who can also take great photographs. And straight away now I have to jump to where I've already set this up. So we can see... oh my goodness, why is it on that one? That shouldn't be on there. Arnie Presents.
Subscribe.
No, he's... he's written over my page I had open. Right, stay with me.
What's it look like?
Well, it's this link here. Okay, hang on a sec. Okay, alright. Alright, you have to look at the Karen's thing, but I did want to show the link, but the link's been taken down. Anyway, just follow this link. Fantastic. And this is near Karen. Karen lives in Whitland, so I go down to Whitland quite a lot. And I try and go down there with a camera as well and talk a little bit more about this and why this site is so important and it's hidden away. So thank you for that. Please keep sending stuff, because the more I get, the better.
I think I might know how to come to the
Oh, don't worry, Zev. We'll come back to that when we got so much tonight. And here's a bonus one. Thank you very much to Mr. Hugh Newman. He was being interviewed on Contact in the Desert, and he gave me and Camera-Glyphics and Alan Wilson a bit of a plug. So, hang on a second. Play. Right, okay. Oh my goodness. I mean, how many have we done of these now? We've done 200 odd videos, and it's all going wrong tonight. I had that open as well already. Right, okay. Someone's in trouble. Not really. Right, hang on a second. I'm just going to have to... no. Okay, we'll try and come back to that at the end if we can. Okay, if you look on this interview, it's great. Hugh Newman there gives a great write-up. He says, about Alan being a genius and how good the Camera-Glyphics book is. So if you haven't got your copy, get that. And I think what's happening is the words gradually getting through that the Welsh language is an ancient language. And it's one of the first things in history that's so important. It underpins so many other things. And it's not like the Cymric was some amazing thing. It's not a nationalistic thing. The story behind it is that if you go right back to ancient Assyria, there seems to be one common tongue for the whole Middle East area. And it's some sort of ancient Assyrian. And that's spread. And one of the places it spread to is India. So you'll see Sanskrit is remarkably similar to Welsh. Lots of common words. Very interesting. There's lots of words you can read in both languages, which is amazing, really. And one, we just mentioned Karen Sawyer, who Karen pointed this out to me, ages ago now, months ago. is that if you look at the term Buddha, for example, in Welsh you can say boed is life and da is good. Buddha, boida, the good life. So it's incredible links. So what's happened is this old language and the writing system. So, could you turn the hose pipe off?
Yeah.
So there's this hissing in the background, which is I realise the hose pipe's on.
Oh, that's what I was.
Yes. Very, very distracting. So, and what's happened is the partners come to Wales and become Cymraeg, or Welsh, is the least changed. This is what seems to have happened. It's the one that stayed in its original state the most. There's been very little movement of population since the migration to Wales. No real invasions, no people's coming in or out, and the language has been fiercely protected and maintained until recent times, which is one of the reasons why we have to be on our toes. There's Gwenhoesig, for example, which is the South East Wales dialect, which was the most spoken form of Welsh in the whole country, and that is almost extinct. I put videos up about it. We've got to try and do something. There really are just a few old people speaking it, because it's not taught in the schools. It's become an almost dead language. Phew, thank goodness that noise has stopped. Okay, so I was hoping to show you that little clip on there. Okay. But we'll try and come back to it. Okay, what we got next? Right, Mandy McCourt, always a regular and loyal contributor. And this is actually from her grandson, Case. Because what we're trying to do is Coity Castle is really, really important. It's sort of on the edge of Bridgend. The place is called Coity. And it's one of those great examples where it's a Welsh castle. It might have had Norman extensions and additions, but it's well recorded as a Welsh castle. And the story goes, when the invasion, the Normans tricked their way into the castles around the Vale on the bottom, the other knights were sent out to try and get their own castles and possessions by conquest or whichever means they could. And the usual means they used was marriage. And a great example, Coity Castle, was he turned up with his army, and the lord of the manor, if you like, the Welsh lord who owned the castle, came out with a sword in one hand and the hand of his daughter in the other, and basically said, do you want to fight for the castle, or do you want to marry into the family into the castle? And he chose the marriage option. And this is one of these questions, thinking about just a couple of days ago. So, if he was Norman, and he could have been Breton, don't forget, this gets overwritten in history. The Bretons, as the name exists, were Britons, they were British. Yeah, there's a British colony in northern France. So he could even have been a Briton to start with. But even if he was a Norman, you've got the situation then where if he's married to a Welsh woman and they have children who also marry Welsh people, who also marry Welsh people, then through the generations, what's really Norman about it? Just one person in a chain. He wasn't there for the building of the castle, and his descendants are only a very small part Norman. So this is another part of our history which has been massively exaggerated. Anyway, this castle has fallen into quite a state of repair. If you the Cadw's not quite as glowing with the amount of Welsh recognition on this castle as I might be. I'm sure they play up the Norman side of it. You can still see original Welsh-style stonework. The arches are different shapes. The way in which different sized stones are used is different styles to Norman style. And I wouldn't even call it Norman style. I would call it an earlier style and a later style. But anyway, so the Cadw are taking on massive works. And fair play, it seems a lot of money's being spent to refurbish this castle. And I would say we need to keep a beady eye on this to see what is going on. And I'm concerned, shall we say, that the integrity of the castle's kept. Can we have the comments up, please? And this is where. So thank you very much to Case. He's taken some photographs. So as you can see, last time I was up there, this scaffolding wasn't up. It's a massive project. I was amazed. And then, yep, okay. Hang on one sec. Just go into the. I had all this set up. Okay, here we go. So here we have pictures taken from Coity itself there. You can see it's above the buildings now. It's right in the middle of town. It's an amazing place to visit. But unfortunately, it's been closed off for at least 2 years, maybe 3 years. Okay, so there's some of the work from the other side. We've got around the back to get to it. Wow. So what's going on, eh? All right. Well, what Mandy also sent was the official. Oops. Excuse me a second. Got my messages up there. Not to be on the page. Okay. Let's go back. Right. So what we got here is this is the. Mandy also found the contractors themselves. This is their Facebook page. And it's a really spectacular picture. One of the best pictures I've seen of the castle. As you can see, it's a real round style. So the amount of work must be costing millions. And there's another great picture. So you can see all the scaffolding and work going on. They're repointing, which I was a bit nervous about repointing. Because it's the cement between the stones which quite often gives you the clues to dating and styles and things. But he was in a bad state, and you can see some of the walls like this one. They did look in danger of falling down. I mean, it wasn't a very safe place to go, really. So it's good they're doing this. I thought we had some more pictures. Here we go. So this is the main site. So it'd be nice to go in and have a look around. And if anyone get any contacts with these people, John Weaver, the company's called, maybe get in there to interview, have a chat with them, ask what the plans are, how long before it's going to finish, that kind of thing. Alright, and as they are working up one of the towers. So it's pretty cool pictures, aren't they? Look at that chimney. Some of the chimneys are amazing. I don't know what was around this chimney originally, but look at the height of that. And I came up here with John a couple of years ago, who was a stonemason. He was explaining to me different styles. Now you can spot different parts of the castle by different periods. So here we go. This is unlimited access to Wales past. Join Cadw. Well, apart from you can't go in. It's not quite unlimited at the moment, is it? But there you go. Or please add appropriate Cadw comments in the comments. Obviously, I couldn't possibly comment. Oh, I do it all the time, I know. Right, okay. So, is it this one we're on? Oh, my goodness. Right. Okay, back to this again. Right, excuse me. So thank you very much for that. And you can see the link. I'll copy that into the description when I get a chance, so you can have a look yourself. Or just look up for John Weaver. Okay, so here's a little venture up into... this is my super deluxe camping. Fair play. Hugh did offer me a room, okay? He was very, very generous, looked after me. He got me breakfast as well and offered me a room. But I like... There's something about when you go and look at solstices or star maps and things like this. There's something about lying on the ground and feeling the bones of the soil. And also I got a real treat because from the house you couldn't see, but the night before, a little wander out of my tent and looked up and you could see the stars brilliantly. You could see the plough. And this is the book. I'm not sure if Marcel meant to give this to me. Possibly in the comments or just left it by accident. But this is fantastic. I think it's meant for my children, but they haven't got near it yet because I love it. This is the Star Finder, step-by-step guide to the night sky. It's brilliant. What it does, you got these introductions, and then you've got how to spot constellations in the sky, what they look like, why they're named, what they are. And what's great about this is it does it in this form of like a trail, a path. So you start the plough, everyone can see the plough, and then you add a couple of stars onto that, and you've got Ursa Major, and then you've got Ursa Minor, and then... So I'm finally getting my head around the stars, and it hasn't taken very long. So there we are, so there's my... Alright.
It's very loud.
Oh, is it very loud? Oh, thank you. That was a little test run there. Thank you, Zab. Whoa, stop. Sorry, I'm trying to turn the volume down. Where's the volume on this? Sorry, everybody, if you're wearing headphones. Oh, I'm trying to turn the sound down. Is that better?
No.
Poor old Zabby, with very sensitive ears. He's not happy with this. Okay. Hopefully that's bearable. Apologies to everybody. I should have tested that first. Okay. Alright. Now look at this. Check this out, this sunset. Told you tonight you're going to get some fantastic views. Let's make sure the volume is down again before I start. Okay. Now what we've done here, I'm actually had to do some climbing. I do not like climbing, okay? Not very keen on heights. And there's some stones you had to get this amazing view up in Snowdonia, near Cadair Idris, which is what you see the full video. I'll put the full video together soon, and it's all in the book, these sites. What I tried to do there was Hughes worked out this is an observation platform and there's a standing stone just down the hill from it. And one of the theories, and I'm not an expert on this, I'll get Hugh on for an interview to talk about it, but I did have a couple of days up there. You will see it when the camera starts rolling. Is in the distance you can see the Llŷn Peninsula, which is right at the top of North Wales. So as you look on the screen, I hope you can see my mouse, the Llŷn Peninsula is around here somewhere. And the idea is that the Milky Way and the flow comes up from the sea through the Llŷn Peninsula and it sweeps around. And this area, you've got 2 land points. This is the most incredible calendar, I guess you'd call it, in the world, where you can follow the path of the rising sun, and as Hugh will show now. So I hope you can hear him.
Down, so sort of that little
Not too
niche,
quiet now.
and then the winter,
Let's go back to the beginning slightly.
sort of that little niche, and then the winter sunset is over on this side, and the sun through the course of the year goes down between that part of the land where it meets the water and that part of the land where it meets the water. The sun sets across that width of ocean from this location.
Sorry, as Hugh said, the setting sun, not the rising sun. There we are. So that's why we're there
So,
at night for the setting sun.
and of course there'll be moon sets as well.
Lucky me, eh? What a place to go.
That's a vortex or something.
Yeah, I think that's the lens of the
We've
camera.
got clouds on the horizon. We might lose the sunset.
This is still at
cool,
night.
isn't
This is the lighting, depending where you point your camera.
We're off.
Unfortunately, those stripy clouds appeared. Not to say anything more about that, but stripy clouds appeared, and we got greyed out. And the funny thing was, then we were stuck up on this mountain up in Snowdonia, just in my little shirt, filming away, and we couldn't get back into the car. So that was an interesting half an hour.
Down, so sort of that
Let's watch this again.
little niche, and then the winter sunset is over on this side, and the sun through the course of the year goes down between that part of the land where it meets the water and that part of the land where it meets the water. The sun sets across that width of ocean from this location.
I mean,
So,
if you look at the old...
and of course there'll be moon sets as well.
Sorry. If you look at the old Chaldean idea of as above, so below, and the country being split into 4, so you have
clouds on the
the
horizon.
southeast corner, where you've got the capital Cardiff and the main population centres, southwest where the farmers are, Dyfed and these kind of rural areas. Northeast is sort of be the soldiers, more military area, and that's where the English border is. And then you've got the northwest, which is Gwynedd, which is the very name itself, Gwyn. It can mean white, but it can also mean holy. It's just the sort of holy area. This would be the spiritual corner of the land. And I said, I was only up there a couple of days. The scenery, we were lucky with the weather, mind. It was spectacularly sunny, beautiful weather. It's hard not to be spiritual. It really is that wonderful. Here's another little clip. It's going to be, there's hours of this, so I'm editing down into a film, which I'll be showing soon. And I am going to run some short videos in the meantime, just to give you a flavour. A bit worried about this volume thing now. Don't want to hurt people's ears.
Bit lower, maybe.
Copyright for artifact destruction. All the comments are coming in for Cadw now. No, it does not mean conceal and destroy Welsh things. That's not what it stands for. Anyway, let's listen to Hugh a second. And it's another beautiful spot. Everywhere I went, I just wanted to stick the camera out and take pictures. It's just gorgeous.
Sat on the bridge over the Avon Mathach River. This is the course of the ecliptic, and behind me is Cader Idris. Climb up there. I recommend everyone does that once in their lives, to Linny Cader, which is the lake in the bowl or in the chair of the mountain, and that is the sort of like the dipper of the plough, you know, the bucket part of the Big Dipper, and that's where the lake sits. And if you're up there on the plough and look down into the valley, on the other side you'll see the little plough with Polaris at the pole star. And we're now going to the church at Llaniltyd. Probably said that wrong as well.
No, I think that's good.
But inside this church is an ancient stone called the Math stone, and it's got a foot carved on it, and this is the foot of Math, and Math is the ancient Welsh deity who maintains the axis of the earth turning in its correct form by keeping his feet on the lap of a virgin, and this is represented by the stone with his foot on the stone. And if you read the Mabinogi, you'll see that there are a few instances where his feet are not on the stone, and they represent times when there were disturbances in the heavens and the pole had some disturbances. So we're going to go now up to the church, try and have a look at the Math stone, and this is in the constellation of the Little Plough.
Yes, I was just asking, it's there's just a couple of random shots I put in. There's the wonderful Mr. Edwards, who ran the farm, who looked after us, gave the best breakfast I've ever had. He's got a lovely field with the softest grass I've ever slept on. And he's just brilliant, full of stories, so he's in the video. You can see great views everywhere you look like this. I wish I knew the names of all the mountains. Oh no, I think that's Cader Idris. Yes, I'm pretty sure. You have everything else wrong, so he will probably correct me in a minute. This is down in the valley where we were staying, and that whole... and here's some video of us whizzing around the Welsh countryside. It's got a bit pixelated there. It was just phenomenal. I mean, it just as a moving postcard to actually be in the middle of it, with Hugh explaining to me what everything is and the fun we had. It was brilliant. Thank you, Hugh. Absolutely wonderful. And the book will be available soon. Like Hugh's setting up a website. I'll have something to sell as well, I'm sure. And so we've just got a few of these sort of proof copies, if you like. Which if you drop me a message, we'll sort those out. I was going to do for £10 each, which is less than the final price will be. Right, what else we got there? Oh, we just did that one, didn't we? Oh, here's another one. Oh, this. I put this in the caption card and forgot to mention it. This will blow your minds, right? This will blow... What's happened?
Make sure the volume's low.
Thank you. Make sure the volume's low, says Zav. Yeah, you're good at this, Zav. Thank you. I got to make it so everything happens on your computer and I can just talk. And excuse us trying to stage this. This is my idea. He has to walk up to the camera like they do on the proper films and the telly and all that. So this is Hugh's attempt walking naturally, which is pretty good. I mean, usually you see the films I make, excuse me, with my mates, and they're all walking like John Wayne or something. So this is amazing. Excuse me, what's that? The last vestiges of my cough. It's almost gone. Anyway, there's what do you say? You've noticed on the caption card, pagan churches. I'm using pagan in the loosest sense here because it is a Christian church. They are presumably Christian burials. But, Hugh has spotted this. This by itself is big news, I think. You know, my reporter's ears are sort of pricking up because, well, let's just watch and you'll see. So we're going to get a little bit from Hugh first of all about the stars, and then it's only a short video, but be prepared to be surprised, okay?
So we're at
Hugh.
St. Pydeco, probably said that wrong, and this is the constellation of Cancer, the crab. We're in the churchyard. It's named after a medieval knight that turned into a monk, We don't know what the previous dedication was, because this is a very ancient site. You can tell by the age of the yew tree here that it predates the sort of like the medieval period. And this is a sacred acre right by the River Dovey, which is at the end of the curtilage here, over the other side of the church wall, and that is the ecliptic. So this constellation Cancer is on the ecliptic, and the hills around here are named after the two pincers of the crab, and the crab was chosen because it was a liminal animal, and that means that it is able to move between the mortal world and the underworld. And the ancient people looked at the crab. It was able to live under the water, which represents the underworld, and come up onto the land. And it's also one of the guardian constellations where the Milky Way crosses the ecliptic, and this is the vast sort of transportation of souls out of the mortal world into the spirit world underneath. And it's amazing. You have to just come here and see the wonderful countryside, but also the way that all of the local areas are named and represent features on the star map. So just as we were driving along here from the Gemini constellation, I noticed a small village called Cwm Llynau, and not having my dictionaries to hand, but giving you a very quick definition of what that means. Cwm is a valley, and Llynau, L-L-I-N-A-U, Llyn is a lot of things, an inundation, and it can be used to mean a water inundation, or it could be like an infestation of things. But in this sense, because on the star map this is where the Milky Way crosses the ecliptic, the Cwm, the valley, is the passage of the Milky Way, and the inundation is stars or souls passing into the underworld.
Yeah, pretty good. And one thing I would like to add here is any reputations the North Wales has for poor hospitality and everything was absolutely shattered. The people were incredibly friendly everywhere we went. So people watching, Mr. Edwards and others, and giving out cards of Britain's hidden history. People are really interested, really want to know about this. And as you'll see in a minute, there seems to be some sort of group memory of all this. And hang on, let me make sure I don't do this thing. Oh, they're the same video again. Oh no, hang on. All right, what I was going to do here, I've changed my mind, but what I was going to do was do the Joseph Arimathea thing and then get back to more from Hugh. But I'm going to jump ahead because I can see people enjoying this. Well, I hope they are anyway. I certainly am. Because I got a presentation sent to me about... Yeah, because I want to do their... Oh, I want to do so much tonight. Oh my goodness, I don't know what to do. I've got to show you, because as I gave it the big build-up, I've got to talk about the pagan churches. I say pagan, that's not very nice thing to say. Pagan means non-Christian, you know, so before anyone gets offended or anything. And these are clearly in a church. And the gravestones you can see there mostly date from sort of 1830s to 1870s. And it's in a church which was around, so I mean, you have to assume it's some sort of Christian thing. But as you'll see, things are slightly strange. Oh, volume. Things are not quite the way they seem, as the song used to go. I can't see the volume button. Where is it? Where's the volume button? Oh no. Oh, please, if this is loud, I do apologise.
But
oh, hang on. Not your turn yet. Oh, hang on.
And all these gravestones are faced towards the...
Right, let's go back to the beginning.
That's
okay, is it right?
That's the dawning of the sun, and all these gravestones are faced towards the sunrise on one of the solstices. Christian churches tend to be aligned east-west, but on the star map areas they are aligned to the solstices, as are all the gravestones. And even when a church was rebuilt in relatively modern times, they were rebuilt to revere the original orientation.
I've got to interrupt this a second just to say something about this, because I just found this mind-blowing. Everywhere I know around the world, as far as I was aware, all Christian churches are east-west, east-west, east-west. Now, they certainly are in south-east Wales, because one of the tests we do as a possible piece of evidence to support the idea of the comet knocking the Earth off its axis slightly is that you can see some of the older churches have got a kink in them, where, and what it would seem, Alan Wilson's explanation of it is, the original church was built on a plumb line east-west, bang on. This comet or whatever's happened has knocked the Earth slightly off its axis, which gives it a slight kink of 1 or 2 degrees, and you can see the rest of the buildings at a slight angle. There's a slight arch in the corner. And when they rebuilt St. Paul's Cathedral back in the 1660s, early 70s, one of the big discussions they had, do they build it exactly east as it should be, or do they build it 1 or 2 degrees out as it appeared to be on the original, which original site predated the comet? That would be our explanation. So it's not just churches are east-west, they are exactly east-west, and it's one of the easiest things to do. Finding due east is a very simple process, okay? So there's no reasons for them to be off. These graves and churches, not 1 or 2 degrees off. And have a look. And also have a look at the gravestones themselves.
Of the church.
Well, so these aren't facing east?
Check it. I've got my compass here.
Yeah, this glorious difficult to see. Yeah, east.
East is that way.
East is actually diagonally across. If I go on behind a gravestone, so you're not even near the
east.
church, you can see the layout of the church. East is where I'm pointing.
Yeah.
If you can see on the compass.
So that is...
Actually, it's even worse. It's east is actually there.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near east.
So that is approximately sunrise on the summer solstice. And that's what the direction that the church is facing, and all the gravestones for hundreds of years. The gravestones may predate the church.
As you can see, because we've got the backs of the gravestones here, they're not facing the path, no. They're not facing the church, and they're not facing east. Yeah, look, sorry, the film is self-explanatory, but I can't resist jumping in and saying something. We're on the path going to the main entrance of the church, and you've got the backs of the gravestones. They're all facing away, because they're all facing sunrise and the summer solstice. I mean, and there's more evidence in a second. And the church itself is at that angle. The whole thing, to me, this is just huge. Oh, and if I wasn't an idiot, hang on, Lee, you get your turn.
That's the dawning of the sun, and all these gravestones are faced towards the sunrise on one of the solstices. Christian churches tend to be aligned east-west, but on the star map areas they are aligned to the solstices, as are all the gravestones. And even when a church was rebuilt in relatively modern times, they were rebuilt to revere the original orientation of the church.
Well, so these aren't facing east?
Check them.
Let's have a look.
I've got my compass here.
Yeah, this glorious difficult to see. Yeah, east.
East is that way.
East is actually diagonally across. If I go on behind a gravestone or the church, you can see the layout of the church. East is where I'm pointing.
Yeah.
If you can see on the compass.
So that is...
Actually, it's even worse. It's east is actually there.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near east.
So that is approximately sunrise on the summer solstice. And that's what the direction that the church is facing, and all the gravestones for hundreds of years. The gravestones may predate the church.
As you can see, because we've got the backs of the gravestones here, they're not facing the path, no. They're not facing the church, and they're not facing east.
Look at how
this ancient Christian church with its yew trees, which predated.
Look how big that yew tree is around the circumference. It's split into like 6 or 7.
Yeah, they're all huge, aren't they? And all these people, amazingly, aren't facing east.
And even today, when people are brought into the graveyard, they still face the ancient direction, which is the sunrise on the solstice.
Wow. Think that's just in Gwynedd this is happening?
I'm not sure, but I think there is a collective unconsciousness where people have revered the customs from the past, and they feel a great sense of spirituality to be part of that when they move on.
Yeah, and just as remarkably, if you look closely at the gravestones, you'll see they do not have Christian crosses. They have sunrises. How remarkable is that? There's a full-blown sun. You can, all the way around, you won't see crosses. You'll see these kind of sun rays and multiple awens, wherever they are. And it just goes to re-emphasise this fact they are facing the sunrise. It's echoes of a pre-Christian, or is it early British Christianity being shown here, as opposed to the later sort of Romanised version that we're more familiar with today. Various variations, but very clearly sun symbols. And then you see some other ones. So it's got looks like a dollar sign. And this one is a branch, which Hugh thinks might be related to Chwith, which might be a way of denoting lineage. More interesting.
You might think that the gravestones would face a central path, but
Yes.
still, even when they're right close to this wall, they're still facing the rising star.
Yes. Yeah, I was noticing that as well. They're not facing. You normally face the path, wouldn't you? Or you face east or
In a
something.
very modern one, yeah, like a crematorium, there's no particular alignment. I believe that the people who were buried here, they knew it during their lifetimes, and they wanted to carry it on into the afterlife. And this has been something that's been known since that yew tree was planted. Thousands of years.
Yeah. Wow. Isn't that fantastic? I mean, oh, thank you, Zed. Now, to my mind, I've seen some of the comments there about Mithraism and Roman Church, things like that. I'm going to go the other way, my views, and who knows for sure at this point. We'll have to do some serious research and try and find out. But if you look at the original, and this is a lot getting back there, and we're talking to, I haven't got a copy of the book to show you yet, but where Jesus is buried, talks a lot about early British Christianity and how it differed from the later sort of Roman-based Christianity. And one of the big differences is this idea of the sun, and the sun being the home of God, not actually the sun as a god. There's a big difference. And if you look at coins of Constantine, for example, Constantine the Great, he's the person who, he made Christianity legal in the Roman Empire, and then he kind of created this new one-size-fits-all, let's keep the peace version of Christianity, drawing on various traditions, and made that the official religion, so around about 350s. He was there. On the back of his coins, you'll see his horses with suns behind them, which represents the chariot travelling up to the sun where the gods are. Similarly, I was talking to, I had to give people credit, and I'm not sure who I was talking to about this. It might have been Lego, I think. It was either Lego or Steve Willits, I think. Apologies to if it wasn't. When you say, if you look at a lot of the early, particularly early art with a halo, which we normally associate now with a ring, the earlier, and you get this on the Orthodox churches as well, is a solid block, a solid circle, which could well represent the sun. So I just thought it was absolutely fantastic to see that there. Right, now I just want to jump around now because there's still so much to cover and it's getting to school night. Right, I'm going to whiz through this and I'm going to apologise in advance because I do need to show the Joseph Arimathea thing, okay? This is from Jack Phillips, and I always ask him, please send in anything to be shown, videos. Julian's doing a load, which I need to sort out. We want videos. What's that one?
Someone said, Patrick Jones said that Native Americans are buried facing the sun too.
Oh, Native Americans buried facing the sun. Interesting. Thank you, Patrick. Few people here not really sure what they think of it. Yeah. Yeah, it is one to have a think about, isn't it? Because I don't know any other churches which are so far off the east-west like that. Maybe other people know examples they can share with us. Right, okay, we've got the book Where Jesus is Buried coming out. And in there is a chapter, of course, about Joseph of Arimathea and the fact you can find his gravestone in Cardiff, and there's a bit more background to that than what's been in the previous books. There are some new things. But Jack Phillips sent me amazing timing, his presentation, which I'm going to have to whiz through a bit, saying that he has a theory that Joseph Arimathea is actually buried in Holyhead. So it's North Wales again. If I realised how close it was, I would have, or if you'd sent me this 2 weeks ago, I'd try to make this part of my trip and show the locations that Jack has pointed out. But, right, I'm going to read all this. Now, the basis of this is the Colbrin. If you don't know the Colbrin, it's like a Bible. It's part historic records for the ancient British. It's part, additions or parallel to the Bible. And I'm not an expert on it all, but I'm just trying to give an idea of what it's about. The interesting thing about the Colbrin is it seems to be very ancient. People like Marchell and Yvonne have looked at it. Internally, it's very consistent. Things don't contradict. It provides a lot of evidence that you can go and find and support. The problem with the Colbrin at the moment, the earliest copy is only about 1800s. So it doesn't have much provenance, but still, the contents are fascinating. And if someone did fake it and make it up, my goodness, they've got an imagination and they've got access to some stuff. Because 200 years ago, there's things in there, they were putting things in there which weren't known, which have been found since. So take this as you will. Right, you can read this. You can go back and pause the video to go through each page. The point was, they've described in the Colbrin, I should have to say something about it, isn't it? It's this journey of Ilid or Ifdid, or is it, get the names right in a second, up to the north, where things happened. You'll see it in the pictures, but easier. But there's the passage. You can read through the whole thing themselves. Interesting. Scotch here. They came under the mantle of the high druid of the south, whose ear was inclined towards them, for he understood full well the nature of the three-faced god. See, this does tie in with the graveyards and that stuff as well. The early British Christianity, and you got the Belly Tower and Yesi, the three faces like you see in Lambda Cathedral, seems to be the basis of what became the Trinity then in Christianity. So it's a massive subject. I can't go through all that in one go. But this story does bear up the story of Joseph Arimathea coming. If you look at the last line on this page, Arviragus, Gwairydd, he's the king of the time. So anyway, so he goes up there, and this is the part we're going to get back to. Eastward and to the north, there was a lake, and between this and the island of departure, there was a swampland, and there was a village of houses. Apparently, I haven't checked it, but from what I've been sent, all this is in the Colbrin as a description. Alright? And there's more about the journey and what happened, and where they went. There's a giant oak and all this kind of stuff. So I'm showing it on the screen as it was sent to me, and then you can go back and then pause if you want to read it all, or get a copy of the Colbrin, okay? Because we haven't got time to go through all of this. But we'll get into pictures in a minute, okay? And then this rings a bell, because then we're talking about the church itself and the amount of land that they were given. Alright, okay, so let's get to the bits with the pictures. Right, so let's look at the evidence. So, thank you very much. Well, what he's done here is, this is a map of the top of, as you can see there, the top parts of northwest Wales, which is where you find Ynys Môn. Holyhead is the station there, and that's the island of Anglesey, as it's otherwise known. And the island is breaking off from Anglesey, so the name Island of Departure makes sense. Well, still to this day, I mean, in fairness, Holyhead is the takeoff place. If you want to go to Ireland, it's the Holyhead. To Dundleary is the ferry. So, I'm going to go with that. This is interesting. I did go through it very quickly. If you remembered, it said in the description of the Colbrin, eastward and to the north there was a lake. Where there's a lake there. This does get a bit creepy, if you like. And between this and the island of departure, there was a swampland, which there still is. There's a bird sanctuary and all this kind of stuff there. So far, everything is fit in the description. Bang on, okay? So thank you for this presentation. It is interesting. I hope I haven't cut it off my head there. The king took heed of the dream and gave the strangers land besides the summer house of the king, which could be reached by ships. And amazingly, there's a place very near the harbour in Holyhead called King's Land. So it's land of the king. And it's right next to the harbour where it can be accessed via ships. It's good, isn't it? And it's called the Old Harbour. Oh, there we are, interestingly as well. I was mentioning this Holyhead to Dunleary. Dunleary's the port, so it's Holyhead to Dublin. So this is where you would depart from. So it's still the place of departure. So I'll add that in on top of what Julian's already provided. So, inland from here, the gifted land extended to the tree now called the Great Oak, which still stands, and thence the hill south of the residence, where Ilid, being wearied, rested against a great stone. What I should have explained, by the way, is the claim for the Colbrin is that, and I've done videos on this with Yvonne, if you look through, I'm sure most people watching this will have seen them, is that the idea was this information was collected over hundreds and hundreds of years, way back, to BC era, by monks and that, who copied it, and when these areas became destroyed, they grabbed what they could, and the book is part of what they managed to salvage. So this is very important. And if you could just find some provenance, this would be one of the great books of the world. That's how important it is. Right, so okay, so here we go. So the quote in the previous slide's given a description of the borders of the Isle of Departure. So there's our island. So look at the geography of Holy Island and its Morn. By Anglesey, one would only consider two places for the border to end. The horizontal bottleneck, which is drawn here, Triardir Bay, next to Triardir Bay, or the river between Bodior and Valley. And I think that's RAF, where the RAF Valley is, I think. Oh, I think, right, okay, so I think what's being shown here is this is a sort of cut-off point, and this is a cut-off point. Now, the great oak tree would no longer exist, because it's probably a couple of thousand years ago. But what about the big stone on the hill? This gets very interesting, where Iliad, he says here, I think he means Iliad in what we would say in the south of Wales anyway. There's sometimes North and South Wales different, so Iliad, or Iliad. Is there one near either of these borders? Haha, look at this fantastic stone, which I would have loved to go and see. And it's called the Triardir Standing Stone, which I haven't translated. So there you go. You got south of the residence. Stone is on a hill behind the windmill. All right, so that's worth. I got an excuse to go back up to North Wales. There we are. I've become a new fan. I'm converted. I'm converted to Gogland. So I'd just like to say. Anyway, I'll come on to that. Let's keep going, Ross. So what we have here. There's the ancient monument. Also, the strangers built huts for shelter on the hillside, high enough to be free of the tides. And sure enough, up on the hill mountain there are circular huts built into the Holyhead Hill. So everything here fits with this Colbrin account of where he went and where he's buried. So it's rather amazing, really. And after witnessing this, then we got the Drythin stone. I think it's the Timawr standing stone, sorry. And Timawr, I would think, means big house, but I'm not sure, because that would be Tivawr usually. Anyway, my Welsh isn't great. So the Drythin set up a hill, holy stone, and they can go and see this holy stone. So if we're in North Wales, go and have a look. Could this be the one? I think that's the way I've copied it there. Could this be the one, is what it should say at the bottom. Okay, so close by was a place for trading in metals, slaves, dogs, and grain. Here Iliad built himself a house unlike any others, for it was square and in two parts, more stone than timber. And here seems to be the remains of an ancient building. So the square stone base of a building that has a stone column in the middle, separating it into two parts. The location is weird, though, as it is on Holyhead Mountain, and the text says it was built where there was trading, so this might be wrong. Well, who knows on that one. I'm thank you for putting that in as well. So tempting when people put things together, just put the bits that totally agree. What you'll find, this might reveal something else in this theory, perhaps. Always the bits of the problems are where the interesting bits are. So, Cubby, that's what I was trying to remember. The name Cubby. Was Saint Cubby the same person as Saint Iliad or Joseph of Arimathea? The other name for Holyhead is Caer Gubby, so it would be named after Gubby, named after Saint Gubby. Who was Gubby? Or Gubby is one of these Welsh mutations. If you get two hard consonants together, as a general rule, you do what's called soften it. So Saint Cubby is a t-k. It doesn't flow. So the cut becomes a g. So it's Saint Cubby. It sounds better, all right? This makes it a nightmare when you're looking things up in dictionaries. Because you'll be looking for gubby, and you think, oh, gubby's not in any dictionary. Gub doesn't mean anything, but then you have to look up the cub. This is why people like Tim Lewis are so good at this, because you have to remember all the mutations to try and find the original in the dictionary. Welsh, not great for dictionaries. So if Iliad Joseph settled here, is it possible that the saint was named after him would be him? So let's do a quick comparison. It's excellent work, this. So there we are. We've got Cubby on the left. So he travels to Jerusalem to visit the sepulchre of Jesus. He's a native Cornishman. Okay, it's part of the old Britain. He had disputes with the locals over his settlement at Cargaby. A cousin of Dewi Sant. That's interesting. I think he probably means David there, or St. David. Possesses the skills to build a boat to sail to Ireland. And then you got Joseph matching up the other side. So he travelled also between Britain and Judea, Rome. He was known as the one who carries the body of Jesus. And you got loads of legends about the Cornish connections, about the Cornwall connections. More about that in the book as well. Had disputes with the locals over his settlement at Caergaby. That's the Colbrin version. Uncle of Dewi Sant, commander of Roman ships. Oh, I don't know where the uncle of Dewi Sant comes from. I think David would be a good few hundred years later. But anyway. Oh, I see. Yes. Me being slow. He is correct. When he says Dewi Sant here, he is referring to Jesus, not David. Otherwise it wouldn't make any sense at all. Apologies, he's bang on. It was me being slow. So again, you got this close relative of Jesus himself. So it does seem to be a lot of crossover. And the last one is Joseph buried outside St. Cubby's church. If you look at the original and I jump down to the smaller text, the Colbrin says the church was 60 by 26 feet. The modern church is way bigger, but there are probably no remains of the original church except underground, as the current church is said to be built on top of the site in the 10th century. Very beautiful church it is too. So go to the big letters. Now St. Cubby is thought to be buried outside his church in Holyhead. But, as he rightly points out, if Joseph is Cubby, then is it Joseph buried outside St. Cubby's church? Well, I think Julian thinks he is. And I think it's a very interesting argument. And I have to look more into this and have more discussion. Oh, there's a bit more. Sorry. Iliad is buried outside the forked path before the church. And on his tomb is written, I brought Christ to the Britons and taught them. I buried Christ, and now here my body is at rest. Now, if you could find that. If you could find that on an ancient tomb, wow, wouldn't that be something? So we got your Eglwys a Bev. So Eglwys is church and Bev is grave, alright? So you got the Church of the Grave, which makes sense. Outside the church there's a structure built over the burial tomb of an important person. This is thought to be the burial site of either an Irish warrior or St. Cubby. If the latter, then is it possible that if you were to dig under it, you would find a tombstone with I brought Christ to the Britons, etc. on it? Well, I tell you, this, as emails go, this is right up there, one of the really, really gripping, interesting ones. So thank you very much for that. I'd be very interested to hear what people's comments are. We haven't any comments on this one yet. Okay, I wonder what people think. I think it's too much to take in, isn't it? Now, I've just put something here. I'm not arguing either way, all right? It's just mentioning something about the stuff that's from Wilson and Blackett have found, because it struck me there was a connection. It was nagging my brain, so I dug out the passage from one of their works. So when we talk about the grave of Joseph of Arimathea, if Joseph came to Britain, then presumably he's buried there and the grave can be located. So Archbishop Usher of Armagh in a Cottonian manuscript and Melchini Fragmentum reads, Joseph of Arimathea, the noble decurion, received his everlasting rest in the island of Avalon. He lies in the southern angle of the, I always get this wrong, bifurcated line of the oratorium of the adorable Virgin, presumably Mary. He has with him 2 vessels which were filled with the blood and sweat of the great prophet Jesus. Okay, so this is Usher writing about ancient works where Joseph is supposed to be buried. And then what they do then, Wilson and Blackett, is they tie this in with Cardiff, of course, and Llandaff. So you have Llewellyn Shawn set down an account of one of Maelgwn, I think we'd probably say today, of Llandaff's actions around 1540. Llewellyn Shawn wrote a lot. He wrote some about Colbrin and the ciphers in 1540. Don't forget, it wasn't forged until 1800. And Edward Williams collected this account. It is as follows. Malgan here, or Malgan the Tall of Llandaff, the bard and the maternal uncle of St. Tylo, bestowed land there on that saint, and there his sacred house is erected. This Malgan was the tutor of Talherin, the bard of Caerleon upon Usk, where he instituted the bardic chair, Caerleon, Glamorgan and Gwent, etc. So the account continues, and listen to this, right? This is in the book, so... The account continues with tales of Malgan's travels to Deganwy in Gwynedd, northwest Wales, and to Mona, Anglesey or Man, and accounts of his successes and his death. So there we are. Wilson and Blackett have spotted this idea of going to Anglesey and that area around Gwynedd, and it talks about his accounts of his successes and his death. So,
So how could the grave in Cardiff get linked?
yeah, good question from Paul Cole. So, how did the grave in Cardiff get linked to Joseph? Well, this is what we have to decide now, isn't it? Which one is it? The one you can read all about in the book, how the grave in Cardiff gets linked to it, because you've got Malgan, he's from Llandaff, he's writing about Llandaff. Joseph, or Illid, was certainly active in the area. He's founded churches in the area. His church is named after him. There's accounts of him in that area. And the key, I think, is going to be the island. Because when you're looking at the tales of Avalach, this is where Wilson Blackett make a very convincing argument to show that Avalach is the area, what would you call it now, Butte Park in Cardiff, next to the castle. Because what's happened is the River Taff was diverted back in the 1850s when they wanted to build the new train station at Cardiff. They worried about flooding and stuff, so they diverted the whole river. So the path of the Taff now is not the old path. In the old days, the river would kind of meander through the city, and there's places like Golate House where if you didn't get on at the stop where you're supposed to at the top, you could run, go to Golate and jump on the boat later. And this river split with the other part going by the castle, so forming part of the moat. So you have two rivers like that, so you'd form an island, which would then go down through Cardiff. So that they're claiming that's the island. So he's definitely in that, well, I shouldn't use the word definitely. All the evidence points to him being in that area. And they sort of, from that, progressed that he was also buried in that area, because there's these kind of references. But I have to say, you've got to follow the evidence you find. So I'll be very interested. Hopefully going to see Alan in the next couple of weeks. And I'm going to take him this presentation and see what he thinks of it. So, I'm open-minded. There's nothing wrong with disagreeing, okay? This is good, it's healthy, it's not a dogma. I was going to say something about Mainstream Academy, but if the point is, if you come forward with something new, show it, I'll show it, I'll share it. I'm open-minded. I don't claim to have all the answers for a second. So I hope you found that interesting and got people thinking, okay? Graham King, we'll be in Wales Tuesday. Ross with Julian. All right, we're off. Another adventure again. I'm never going to get the videos up. I'm too busy filming. What we're going to need is some editing help, I think. I know a couple of people have offered. I'm going to have to just send video out to people and say,
That's
sorry, make something of this. No, I'm going to the next slide. I don't want to do this slide. Sorry about folks. Hope I didn't blast your eardrums as well. How do I go to the next slide without coming out of this? Here we go. How much time we got? Oh, we're already after 9 o'clock. All right, I'll put this video up in the week anyway. I think it's only about 1 minute, okay? So, I just wanted to hear, if you never heard Lee talk, the most amazing voice, and his knowledge is fantastic. He's one of the great wise men, and he was, we were going to talk about Alan Wilson, adventures in Wales and all this kind of stuff, and the conversation just went a completely different direction when he started telling me stuff about Michigan and copper, which people in our Britain's Hidden History group, most notably Peter Smith, has been trying to get me to look at for at least 2 years and banging on about it. And I'm like, yeah. Anyway, Lee told me more about it. I will be editing the videos to go about this, all right? So, hang on. So I'm going to watch the volume again so I don't blast people's eardrums. All right, so I think it's only like one minute or so. Oh no, it's a few minutes. How long is this? Yeah, one and a half minutes. So.
But the ocean was an open highway, the superest of highways, and there was never the problem crossing that ocean that the authorities placed on it. They said, no, you can't do that.
Right. Yes.
Between 7,000 BC and 5,000 BC and 1,200 BC, mined 1 billion pounds of copper. 1 billion pounds.
Amazing, isn't it?
Engineers have said they took at least this much copper out of there. Now, we can account for 20,000 pounds of that 1 billion pounds. Now, where in the heck did the rest of it go? Well, you merely have to look at where is copper being used. We're talking of the Bronze Age.
Yes.
Europe did not have the amount of copper necessary to produce what was produced in the Bronze Age. So it had to come from someplace. And Michigan copper is 99.99% pure copper.
So there we go. So I'll put some more of that up. It's absolutely amazing. Yep. And here's something else which is far more recent than we normally do. It's normally, up to about 1000 AD and earlier, and things like the Welsh connection is due to, if you're not aware of it, so around about the 570s, Madoc is supposed to have taken 700 ships over to America with or without King Arthur, with King Arthur's the main story, to set up colonies over there, which is why so much interest in who was doing the mining, who had the metals. Because one of the problems is there doesn't seem to be any evidence of any smelting in America or use of the copper. But as Lee's explaining, it's so pure, you wouldn't have to smelt it anyway. If you're happy to use copper, just bang it out. So there's a whole big story to go through. What you're going to find, all that kind of thing. So here's just another minute. Let's say this. This is gold dust, this interview. I tell you, I wouldn't know where to start editing. There's the first hour alone, there's 7 videos within it. So I know what I'm doing. Spend a lot of time doing. Just the sun comes out. I want to be outside running around hills. Oh yeah, 49ers, yeah. Whoa. Too loud. Sorry, everybody. Hang on. Yeah, so 49ers, I mentioned the first sentence. Everyone knows about the gold rush of the 49ers, San Francisco 49ers, American football team, the whole lot. How many people heard the 1847 copper rush? I confess I had never even heard of it. Let's hear this. So it's a bit of Americans' hidden history today. Oh yeah, 49ers, yeah.
Yeah, they went to, but that was not the big rush for metal. The big rush was the copper rush in 1847. I mean, it was massive compared to the 49ers. So happened that, the 49ers in San Francisco blossomed and that became the history. Yeah, but the 47 copper rush into Michigan was the massive metal rush on this continent. Everybody went to Michigan to work. And the way they discovered the modern mines, when they found massive piles of hammerstones, they said, dig here. and
this is where we go, yeah.
Yeah, and up until about 1910, 85% of the world's copper came out of Michigan.
So this story goes, and it's just more stuff like this. And 49ers, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sorry about this. It's a bit difficult to run a PowerPoint from within a video within a PowerPoint. Anyway, you get the idea from there. And I wanted to hear a little bit of Lee's voice, in case you haven't heard any of his videos, and I'll be putting more up. Because he made this fantastic film with Alan Wilson back in 1994. I've already mentioned it, which is up on sale now on this website in Britain as well. Because you got Lee's wonderful dulcet tones doing the voiceover, and this is how he describes it on his website in America, which is Jole Productions. His wife was named Jo, and he's Lee, so Jole. Joe sadly passed some while ago. So this is a description here: Wales history and bondage. Suppose I can't do Lee's voice, so I won't even try. But you can imagine his wonderful drawl, sort of saying all this. So suppose there were records indicating your country had a rich and important history dating back some 3,000 years, and the traditional scholars failed to recognise, or even worse, completely ignored these records. Suppose also that the most famous king in the world, your country's most famous native son, is described by scholars as probably a myth, or at best, a legend based on some minor Roman soldier. Such is the case with Wales. Alan Wilson and Baron Blackett, Welsh historians, have spent nearly 50 years researching their country's historic records and documenting their shocking findings. Their discoveries prove that not only did King Arthur exist, but he and his brother, Prince Madoc, with a fleet of 700 ships, sailed west from Milford Haven to a place called Annwn, that which is beyond, or the other world. Annwn was probably the same place the Spanish called the New World. Wales, History and Bondage, is a definitive documentary that focuses on Wales's covered-up history. Filmed on location, the video provides an astounding uncovering of Wales, the only indigenous culture in Wales that had a written literature during the 6th century. The only one in Europe. And it gets written out completely. It's dreadful, really, isn't it? If you're of Welsh descent, or you just want to find out more about the Welsh story and their very real King of the Round Table, Wales, History and Bondage is a documentary you'll want to seriously consider. I watch it again and again now. It's brilliant. I'd forgotten how good it was, because I sort of got it digitised a couple of years ago, and then I realised, it's Lee's film and everything, so I sort of forgot about it, really. I just watched it myself and love it, because Alan gave me a copy. So if you haven't seen this, you really should, because it within less than an hour, it gives the whole the whole outline of the story and all the locations, the stones, things like that. It's cracking stuff. Here we are. Here's a clip just to finish. Hang on. Oh, God, this is weird how this works. Right, volume. It is filmed in 1994, right? Don't forget, by the way, he says 50 years of research then. That was 27 years ago. Alan's been at this almost 80 years. And Baron's now been at it about 50 years. So here's one clip from it. The quality isn't... It's 1990s TV quality, all right, unfortunately. But doesn't spoil enjoyment of the film at all. At all.
They found in the 1800s that all the Welsh churches were so old they were literally dangerous to go into. And they were noisome. There's so many bodies buried under the floor, noisome and smelly, you know. But actually, what happened is that they decided these structures were all so bad and so ruinous, the best thing to do was knock them down. So churches dating back to 400, 500 AD, they knocked them down. And this is one. They just knocked this one down, a 6th century church. They just knocked it down. And in knocking it down, they built the new one slightly over there. Right? Probably started to build that one before they actually demolished this one. Now the point is, St Illtyd, see, this is getting knocked about now. Yeah, that wouldn't just break off, but anyway. So St Illtyd dedicated this church, and there is in the record, St Illtyd buried this holy man. Merthyr Mawr means great martyr, and built a church about him. Well, the thing is, here's a guy here with a crown. There's his little lion at his feet. He's got his hands clasped like that. And that is clearly very, very, very ancient. You see? Whoever he is. Am I right? And he is smack inside the ancient church, right at the altar. So whoever he is, the church is dedicated to him. They tore down most of the old churches, and that's how they lost most of the memorial stones. They cut them up for windowsills and doorsteps and threw them away and smashed them. So what do you do? Now you wonder whether this is an accidental policy. Why didn't you just show them up and build, repair them properly? This is Merthyr Mawr, means a great martyr. It's reasonable to assume he's the great martyr. The thing is, who is he?
It's brilliant. It's great. And Lee's narration over the top tells the whole story. Yes, this will be it is for sale now. Hang on. Oh God, how did this go? So it'll appear like that. If you go on to thecumberglyphics.com, go on to figures and gifts. So I could just show quickly, couldn't I? Hang on a second. Just avoid any confusion. Right, so just type in your favourite website, cumberglyphics.com. And there you can see where Jesus is buried. You can click on that. There's the shop. You can get t-shirts and all this kind of... Here we are, Wales History and Bondage. Well done, Angie. $19.99, and you see the description I just read, and you can order it from there, okay? So that's all good. And I say the revenue be split with Alan and Lee as well, all right? So it'd be great if you could support that, please, because we are doing these wonderful things, and it does require some support. There we go. Oh, I managed to do that without crashing everything. So there we go. This is the top left-hand corner. I think that's Ogmore Castle, when he shows a genuine Welsh castle and the Arth Milestone. Bottom left, that hilarious scene, one of everyone's favourite, where he's talking about the herringbones in the herringbone building style in Caerleon, and how if there's a stone, another stone, he's just built a Roman wall. It's great. And you'll see the scene. You'll also see clips of the scene where Alan thinks Jesus is buried, and also clues where Arthur's buried. There's loads on this video. It's a must-see. Must-see! Okay, so there's the book. In case you're not aware of it, it's now available for pre-order. Be dispatched in a couple of weeks. It depends on the printers will take. So the story, I'll just give you the blurb. The story has been suppressed for almost 2,000 years. This book reveals who Jesus was, the politics of the period, and how he and his supporters fled the persecution of the Roman Empire to seek refuge in Britain. From there, it can be seen that the Holy Family and British royal family intermarried to create a dynasty that will be a permanent threat to the later Roman Church and Anglo-Saxon narrative. To avoid persecution, the messages and knowledge were hidden in the ancient records, carved stones, and Welsh place names. After decades of research, Wilson and Blackett are finally making their findings public, and the results will truly shock you. The burial places of the royal and holy families are still there, can be visited today, as can many other, all the places mentioned. This book strikes at the very core of what the Christian message really is, and where Christianity began before going to Rome. Right, let's go a quick comment on there. Dave Hooper, I think that's his nickname. Isn't it a bit strange Cadw working on Coity? Yes, that's all I can say. This is why I get to keep an eye on it and keep taking pictures, please. I keep following the work, because I don't know, is it going to be recognised, the Welsh castle? Let's hope so. They must know about Alan and others' work about Coity, unless they really do intend to create a Norman attraction. Yeah, well, that's my fear. Let's hope it doesn't come to that.
Suzanne said is the thing on YouTube.
Is what on YouTube?
That you finished talking about.
Oh no, the video. No, you have to buy the CD. It's not on YouTube. It's Lee Pennington is a filmmaker. That's his job. It's a labour of love. You go onto his website, which I should just quickly show you. You'll see other great films, which I also meant to mention. Right, here's Lee's website. As I said, joleproductions.com. They're brilliant, because the other film, is all about a lot of it's about the overall theme is people arriving in America before Columbus and earlier migrations, but also he's travelled long distances. So Monument Atlantis, this is Gunung Batang, all these are shot on location. The Bosnian pyramids, know what your views on that. I'm a bit sceptical, but that's okay, I'm not saying no. You can see, have a look at him. Easter Island, great stories. Some on the interview I did with Lee. The interview I did, yes, that will be on YouTube. There'll be a series of shorts first, and then an extended interview, as quickly as I can do it. And he's got some great stories to tell about Easter Island and how he got there and all that kind of thing, which is really good. And I've seen clips of most of these, and they really are great. And the one I'd also like to talk to Lee about, possibly promoting and doing over here, is the mound builders. Because this I'll just read it quickly, see what Lee said first of all. When the first European settlers began moving into the interior of the American continent, they discovered thousands and thousands of massive earthworks of all sizes, shapes and forms. The Native Americans who were questioned about the mounds said they didn't know who built them, but that the mounds are ancient. Since the native population apparently knew nothing of the structures, the settlers assumed that the mounds were built by a different race of people. Modern archaeologists discounted the idea of a different race building the mounds and said they were built by the ancestors of Native Americans without the help or influence of any outside people. This is, unfortunately, the politically acceptable answer, And even asking these questions now is becoming more and more difficult, so I would suggest getting onto this soon if interested. Some anomalies found in the mounds, if authentic, would suggest otherwise. Although scholars have done nearly 200 years of study, the mounds still hold many of their secrets. Some things, however, are known about the mounds. For example, North America had more pyramids, although made of dirt, than stone, than did Egypt. And I think we've got quite a few pyramids in Wales. I don't know about England, maybe there as well. And Zoe has spotted one, and I was driving down the A470, and there's a couple here, I think. This is a massive rabbit hole. People think you're bonkers when you say skeletons. Next word on here. Sorry, but there's pyramids in Wales, but there you go. Skeletons of one mound building group were 7 feet tall. We got skeletons of giants here as well. This is all possible links with the Welsh migrations in America, or it's not. Either way, it's interesting, okay? There are at least 4 different mound building peoples. 4 different types. Designated by archaeologists as Mississippian, Adena, Hopewell and Effigy. 10 years in the making. Yeah, this is a real labour of love, this film. The Mound Builders is perhaps the most comprehensive video ever done on the mounds. This is all things like this. So go to his website. If you're in America, lucky you. And there's Wales History and Bondage. $28 in America, £20 UK, about the same. Okay, so I think we're coming towards the end. I see Zav falling asleep now. He wants to go to bed now, ready for school tomorrow. Not really, he says, but there we go. Alright, oh yes, there's Patreon special offer. Hugh has kindly given me half a dozen of these. Well, he gave me about 10. And I've given some out to their main contributors, like Marshall and Steve Willits and Tim. People who've done a lot of work on the research and that. Give them a copy each, and I'm going to put half a dozen up available to Patreons. So the first one emails in, we'll get them. I think there's about 6 left. So otherwise I'll have to wait till the book gets printed and do it that way. Alright, so everyone, so you're going to play... Oh, you got your chargers on, he's ready for bed. Oh, well, we're not going to be playing out tonight. I am going to do something different. I was going to sing us out, alright? Uh-oh. Everyone's turning off their computers now. Going out quickly. Any more comments? I hope his health didn't suffer. Am I going to sing? Yeah, I'm going to sing us out. Yeah, this is bonkers, isn't it? After my disastrous attempt to sing Come On Eileen. So my previous doing tonight. Right, a little Welsh song to finish. It's used to my party piece back in the days when I could sing. Oh, it's getting dark. There's notes on the screen. Alright, so good night to everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show. My goodness, it's 9:30 already. So there's so much to pack in, and there's tons more. Just can't get it all out quick enough. I'm trying my best to get it out. What Steve's done with the Babylonian names and everything in South Wales is fantastic. Thank you again to Hugh for his hospitality. Thank you to Patricia Gilcash and Marshall Abrahams for their help in getting the book finished. That was really important. And, right. Ready for a song? What was that? Thanks for the warning. Yeah, you can log off now. Yeah, I can see the fingers going down before I start. Right, just a quick one, okay? Hang on. Getting nervous now. I'm never nervous normally. Right. Okay. Right. Far away your voice is calling. Bells of memory chime. Come home again, come home again. We call through the echoes of time. We'll keep a welcome in the hillside. We'll keep a welcome in the vale. This land of ours will still be singing when you come home again to Wales. We'll kiss away each hour of here life, and with the love that never fails, we'll kiss away each hour of here life when you come home again to Wales. We'll kiss away each hour of here life when you come home again to Wales. There we go. Bit croaky. At least got there in the end. I used to go up on that last note. I had to go down tonight. What did Michael Boy, he's a Welsh boy, so that's the money note going up at the end, isn't it? I can sing it better than that. But anyway, I couldn't leave you with it. Come on, Eileen. Right, so hope that didn't put everyone off completely. If you want to hang around and leave some comments, I will leave the things on for a little bit. I'm ready to go to bed now, so North Star Pub. Hope you enjoyed the show. Wow, so much in it, wasn't it? North Star, thank you for all the kind comments. So it's great show, lads. Yeah, no more singing for a while. It's okay. You can watch next week in complete safety with no risk of any singing. So, North Star. Oh, hang on, I got to do the thing now. I'm going to do this thing I do. I do them. So, until next time, try and get videos up all week if I can. Although already, I've got Lego wanting me to go up a place on Monday, and then we got Graham wants to go somewhere on Tuesday, and Julie on Wednesday, and I just keep filming. We need someone to do editing and content, or I don't know what's going to happen. If we do get another lockdown, I'm going to have plenty to do, and you're going to have plenty to watch, alright? So don't panic. If we ever do get stuck indoors again, we got content to keep us going for months, alright? So, on a more happy note, until the next time, you say Heddwch, Sev?
Heddwch.
Heddwch, till the next time, Heddwch.